All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with Mr. Alonso Leyva de Alquimia Records. Hello, Alonso. Thank you for joining us here this morning. Can you hear me okay?
Thank
Yeah,
you.
for sure, for sure. Well, I appreciate you doing this in English. Si quieres, lo podemos hacer en español. But I think your story is beautiful in English, and maybe we'll record another time and do it in Spanish, or maybe when I go on your show or something. But
sounds good. We can do it in English.
Yeah,
I'll try my best.
Yeah, no, your English is great and stuff. And so I know Alonso for a few years now. I've been following your work as a musician, not me as a musician, but as a fan of musicians, and not just any musician. Now, this guy here is a one-man band, and I've seen him at work. His passion for what he does, his work with children, and his involvement in the community. It's really such an honor to have you here on this show, to just be able to have a little more insight into your life, your passion, your story, what your motivation is. And so it's just such an honor to have you with us here today. So thank you.
Likewise, Anthony, muchas gracias.
Sí, claro, claro. So can you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and how you ended up here, where you're at now?
Well, I was born in Mexico, in Chihuahua. My parents are from Durango, Mexico. And they traveled to California when I was barely born, and we started making life over there. In elementary, I went back to Mexico, and then 6th grade, I came to Denver for the first time. And I've been living here in Denver for since '96, the year '96. And I've been blessed. I feel that I've been blessed, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. And so, musically, what got you started in that?
So my dad, he's a musician. He began playing music when he was 15 years old, and throughout his life, he has been learning a little bit of other instruments. And when I was 13 years old, he asked me if I wanted to join his band, and I said yes. So I started learning keyboards.
Sure.
And in middle school, I began learning the saxophone, learning playing by notes in the bands. And then through high school, I did marching band and jazz band, concert band, wind ensemble, and percussion ensemble. We did competitions. As you can see in the back, I have a bunch of letters. We won state championships when I was in high school. I was very blessed for having great teachers. I feel very thankful for them. I was also able to go study in Metropolitan College of Denver for 2 years before I went touring. A few bands got interested, and I said yes. So I began my first band with like a national, touring was Coralillo, Banda Coralillo, back in 2004 when Duranguense was happening. The Duranguense. Then Beto Terrazas asked me if I wanted to join. He was out of Montes de Durango, and we made a band. And then after that, Horoscopos de Durango, and I learned a lot. And after that, I came here to Denver, and I've always given lessons since I was like 16, 17 years old to my friends, and so I dedicated more into giving lessons, and then that's how Nueva Escuela de Musica began. Got partnered with other teachers, other people, and we people knew about the nonprofit business, and we became a nonprofit, and we've been working with the community for the past almost 2016. So this is our 4th, going into the 5th year of Nueva Escuela de Musica as a nonprofit, and been making music too with Alquimia Records. My brother and I, my brother Fernando Leyva and I started in this, adventure, recording bands and creating what we want to create is a label, a platform where artists can come. We compose songs, we can make the arrangements, and we have a studio. So we have a way to make bands, give them, a package of good product.
Yeah.
And give it to the people.
Yeah, yeah. Why do you think music is so important to the world?
Music is so important. It's because it's a way of putting an ambience into the inside of the soul, the feelings. You listen to some sounds, and some of them can provoke you euphoric, sentimientos. Some of them can be just like you just feel so. You remember your past loves, and you just start crying. Or you wake up and you want some fast music, and you want to do stuff at your house, and then just blast that music, and you just feel that happiness. I feel that it's another type of language. It's a universal language, just like telepathy. It's it's been proven to be true, and so is music. Music is another type of language where you don't need actual words. You can just use the sounds of different, like, brushes, right? You have different brushes for a painting. You have different types of, you have wind instruments. You have synthesizers. You have guitars. Those are string instruments. Organs. They all have a different type of a way of being created for sound, and all of that has to do. When you hear it, it transmits you and goes inside, like, your feelings, your emotions. That's why music is so important. Yeah.
I think as a whole in this universe that all of us have, it's like a note or an instrument or a word or a sound or even a letter. It's like every piece has its role, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's what you're saying. And so for your ability to break it down, you didn't create that role, but you're able to put them together. And I've always been fascinated by musicians because you guys have the ability to sometimes put into words what the heart wants to say. But the mouth and the mind sometimes like, oh, I don't know how I feel, but this is my song. Yeah, this is how I feel. And that's what I love about what you guys do. It's fascinating.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes when I was young, I used to stutter a lot. I still stutter sometimes, but I'm getting a little bit better. Mm-hmm. But music, it's a different type of expressing, and I don't really stutter in the music, like making the music. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. Some people, they stutter, but when they sing, they don't stutter. It's kind of a weird thing, but.
Yeah. Well, what do you get out of? How do you feel when you're on stage? What does that feel like for someone who's not been on a stage?
There's different. At the beginning, you're just nervous because you don't want to mess up the music, right? Mm-hmm. You just want to get it right. But after a few years, you start getting comfortable, and you just, in a way. It's kind of like a what can I say? A little bit of a power to, like, just be that person who puts that sound out. Mm-hmm. Because I feel proud of it to be able to bring music to the world. Yeah. That's really it's a blessing.
To be able to lead that emotion, is that what you're saying?
No, well, yes, but what I meant is, like, more like when I see the people listening to the music, dancing, and having a good time, I feel that I am that person who made that possible, along with other musicians. But you feel that, like, that proudness. You're like, oh, this is great. We're making people happy. This is awesome. Let's continue doing this. This is awesome. And also, I feel that there's a lot of responsibility in what you put out to the world, because most of the time, the genre, what is popular, sometimes they radios and the media portrays a lot of drugs or you gotta get naked, bad lyrics, you know, bad words, and there's a lot of responsibility for all of the musicians in the world to be careful of the message, because music has a power to change people's minds, and especially the young ones, and they grow up listening to this and they think it's normal. But I think we could do a better job in, you know, that's why I think we are, you know, somewhat responsible for putting out the music that we do. So I think that we can change this. I'm not, you know, I'm not against anybody's way of thinking, but I have my own way of thinking, and I think other people do too. And you know, I invite everyone to think about it and change it up.
Yeah. Kind of let your work speak for itself. Right? It doesn't necessarily have to always be, you know, the most harshest, most offensive things to be and do. Because everyone struggles with, okay, I was created this way. How do I use this superpower for good and not evil? Right?
Exactly. It's like a sword, right? You have, you know, two sides. So you need to, like a gun, right? You can just kill everyone, or you can defend yourself when it's needed. And that's how you're supposed. Well, that's how I want to handle music, and that's what you know, in the Nueva Escuela de Musica, I tell all the kids, you know, you're gonna have later the power to do this, and just look out for what you want to portray to the world. And and I think that's really crucial, that people realize that we do have superpowers. The fact that even Superman exists is like a reflection of us. It's this desire for us to be like that. You know, he didn't come out of nothing. He came out of because somebody was inspired to create that notion. So for us, we could either use our superpowers to mess everything up around us, or use it to be an inspiration, a guide, you know, a light. Exactly.
Right? So that's great that you can do that. Tell me more.
Yeah, exactly. I think that, you know, as a language, music, just I say again, you know, it's just so powerful. Young people and old people, it doesn't matter. You know, music is a language that can be understood. With the emotions plus the lyrics. You know, it's a powerful thing.
Because you know, they've been using music for centuries to control the emotion. You know, people go to church and they start, in the beginning, it's just kind of prepare that heart. You know, folks will go into the gym and get that pounding going. You know, and it does have the way to just kind of physiologically and psychologically affect us. And you know, and so you had mentioned a little bit about the, you know, La Nueva Escuela de Musica. You know, what is that about? You know, because we talk about using your superpowers, and you've been gifted with these abilities to, you know, write words, you know, lyrics, write the music, you know, and record it. You know, before we move to that, you know, what would you tell your 10-year-old self?
My 10-year-old self, I would tell him.
Let's say 12. Let's say 12 years old.
I would tell. No. Well, a young little kid.
Between 10 and 12. Tell me, what do you think?
I would tell him that he's very, very loved by the Creator, by God. He's very, very loved by his parents, and he's a beautiful being, just like everyone else. And we all have here our purpose in life. It doesn't matter what you do, but we all have a purpose here. Everybody has a purpose here. And we need, you know, I would tell him to just enjoy life, every moment, and to focus because there's a lot of distractions in the world, and you could just spend your time the whole day doing something that it's going to give you, a happiness for that moment. But after that, there's nothing else, right? Yeah. But you can also do things that will bring you happiness in that moment, and after it'll have repercussions, right? You'll be able to gain something out of there.
Yeah.
For example, I could have studied music, even younger. When I was 5 years old, I won a trophy by singing, but it was just a singing competition. My mom and my aunts and dads, go sing. It was a competition at a park, at the radio station, like Cinco de Mayo.
Like American Idol before it was famous?
That's a little bit lower, but so I won. I was only 5 years old, and there were other kids. There were 9, 8. I sang La Puerta Negra, and but I think that if I would have, studied a bit more, maybe it didn't come out of my head to think that, but everything happens for a reason. Sure. But I could have even focused even more, let all the distractions aside, and know that when I get older, like I tell my students, kids, you need to practice now, because later when you're 18, 20, 21 years old, you're already gonna have your bills. You're gonna have to be working to get your clothes sometimes, pay your phone bill, the insurance, go out. You don't
realize how good you got it right now.
What's that?
They don't realize how good they got it now. Sorry.
You don't realize what? I'm sorry?
They don't realize how good they got it now.
Oh, yeah. So I tell them that you have to spend time now, like sure. When you're 10, 12, 15, before you get into the whenever you're 18 years old, I tell them you're already supposed to be a badass, musician or something. You need to be at it already. You can't be like, oh, when I'm 18, I'm gonna choose. I'm still choosing what I want to be. You can't do that. You can't. But it's preferably from my point of view, because your brain is developing so much more when you're young. So everything that you learn, you actually learn it so well. Like it's deep inside your subconscious and your brain when you're young, and it's easier to learn things when you're young. So I because of the way the brain develops, it starts developing after the 25 years old, after you're 25. But before that, you need to just like focus, practicing, learning your career. Doesn't matter what it is. But after 18 years old, I recommend all the kids younger than that to stop wasting their time and practice more. Do more of that you need to do, because what I've learned is like you need 10,000 hours of a specific activity to get super, good, to be a master. So you need to go. You need to begin. You can't wait until you're 18 years old, 20 years old to start your career. That's a little late. So I recommend the parents and the kids to do it now.
Yeah. They say live today like others don't, so that tomorrow you can live like others don't. It's like you're learning to drive stick shift before you drive automatic. You get the hard part out of the way now.
Yeah.
Everything else will be easier.
Yeah.
Even the discipline.
Yeah. Yeah. When we're learning music, I tell the kids. So the first 2 months of what I'm going to be teaching you is going to be a lot of words that you need to know what they mean. Sequences of notes that you need to learn. You need to get your fingers, whatever the technique is, or your mouth or whatever. You need to get those techniques first. And then after maybe 2 months, if you practice well enough, you'll be able to start learning songs. And it's going to get easier. And you're going to start having more fun with the thing that you're doing. But at the beginning, you need to learn all those basic things. Basics.
Yeah. Why do you think that's hard for people?
Why do I think it's hard for people?
Yeah.
I think that a lot of it has to do with how society is, and it's changing a lot all the time. Society. And every generation is different, right? And every generation has their own types of distractions. And I think this generation has the most distractions out of all of them. When you're a baby, you can hold the phone and you learn how to swipe up. You learn how to do things, right? Like in your phone, on the phones and electronic devices.
Yeah.
So el mercado, how do you say it? The market.
In the market, yeah.
The market is now is run a lot by the media and by technology. So there's a lot of distractions, and I think that's one of the reasons why people don't focus, because there's a lot of distractions. And also there's a lot of I would say misinformation. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and you got to go deep in there. And if you want to find something out, you have to look at different resources, different points of view to find things out. Yeah. And if you don't do that, if you just listen to something and that's it, TV says this and that, that's it, that's what I believe.
Yeah.
And a lot of it can be what we call clickbait. So it's scary stuff. So let's click on it. Let's see oh my God, this is that. So distractions, misinformation. I think a lot of it has to do a lot with as well how the economy. Economy is not dispersed. And the way that I think it can be, there's the poor people sometimes are super, super poor, and the rich, some rich people are like extremely rich. So that difference is too much, and that has that conflicts with your health, because you can't eat. If you're poor, you won't eat good food. You don't even know what to eat because you don't get that good education. And so you begin to fall into this this level of living and thinking, and it's a difference. It's very different from other people because of their way of living life. So there's a lot of difference, like a gap, and I think that we need to educate to society. Society.
What would you educate them with?
I would educate them with first, you need to learn that you have to respect other people's way of thinking, right? You need to listen to them and say, oh, okay, I wonder why you think that way. I wonder what your life has been, why you think that way. I respect you, right? Okay. Now, and then another thing is you need to look inside yourself. You need to fix yourself before you want to be preaching. So sometimes, judging is bad. I think that the judgment is really bad, because whenever you judge someone, I believe that karmatically you sign yourself into the same kind of suffering. Maybe not personally, but maybe someone in your family that hurts you in the same way. So I know karma is like is it true or not? But I really believe, and the old masters and teachers have said, what you put out, you get back. It's a law of physics, quantum physics. What you put out, you get back. Yeah. And energy cannot be destroyed. So you really need to be, think of what we need to teach people, that our emotions and our thoughts have a lot of influence in what happens in your life. If you're always, negative, and then you wake up and you're like, oh, I hate this and that, then you hit your foot on the corner of the bed or anything, and then you're more pissed off.
Mm.
And then, you know, you miss all the light, the green lights, and you're more pissed. And then it's just a pattern. So energy, I think that a lot of good, what I'm thankful for is that I've done, you know, I've listened to a lot of doctors. I've done some readings, and for example, like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden, a lot of teachers. They're, you know, people who have dedicated their whole life to teach people that our emotions and our thoughts, power of the heart, controls what happens to us in life. And whenever, you know, you see all these people, they're happy, and then they're just lucky. Like everything, all these nice things happen to them, and then the angry one says, "Why do they get all the da, 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 da?" And then, you know, it's this thing that people are not conscious of that. I would teach that a lot, for, you know, to control our emotions and to focus our thoughts. What do we want? What goal is it? See yourself there. You need to feel yourself there. And then when you do that, we're like a magnet. We just bring the opportunities and everything into us, and we have to believe. That's what faith is. So respect and learn to control emotions and thoughts. Another thing that society can help teach is learn how the financial system works. Where does it begin? Where does the financial system begin? How does it work? I think, like, if 1% of the population knows that, I think, you know, it's really low. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say for sure it's 1%, but it's really low. A lot of people do not know what, you know, where the money comes from. And,
Sure. So what do you consider, you know, you had mentioned this before about, you know, I mean, you said a lot of different things, and that brought to my attention, you know, there's a saying that says, it's an Asian proverb that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Right?
Yeah.
And so to me, it means really about not forcing your love or forcing your, you know, thought on someone else's life, but really, you know, about being an inspiration to that other person's life, because their struggle and their vision for the same thing might be different. And so you talked about, you know, reaction. You know, I believe that we don't have control over the actions of others, just our reaction.
Yeah.
Because then that allows us to then either clean up all the milk, either because we messed up and we brought a lot of drama around us, and because we were always loud, and we know we have family members and friends that are that way, you know, or do we want to be with those who bring out the best in us, not the stress in us? You know, the dreamers, the learners, the educators, the people who are creating things, the people who are writing music, you know, the people who are doing something with their lives, right? Because we weren't designed to be down here. We're designed to be up here. And that's what you said earlier. You're like, you're supposed to be a badass. Why are you down here?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. We need to help each other out. We can do that together. You know, nature works together. Nature works together. You know, if there's a tree, you know, it's proven that trees share water and they share information. You know, it's a sharing thing. We need to all share and know that we can all connect. You know, with the power of love, we can all connect together, and we can all help each other succeed in our own you know, missions in life. What's your mission? You know, your mission is bringing people together. You know, doing the Latin, the color festival. You do all these, you know, Mi Tierra. You bring people together. That is your talent, and I wish you the best. I give you, you know, sincerity. Send you good vibes, because you're doing it. You know, you're working at it. I see your passion, the love for it, and how you talk to me and how you talk to other people. You're always I haven't heard you, like, you know, doing the negative stuff. Like, no, you're always like thinking outside the box and how we can make solutions instead of talking about, you know, making the problem bigger or chismes or talking about people. No. Like yourself.
Thank you.
No,
you know,
I admire you, brother.
I appreciate that, brother, man. And yeah, and to use your analogy of the tree, and you know, the way I get through it is like this. You know, if you ask that tree over there, you know, how tall he'll grow, and he'll say, yes, as tall as I can. And if you ask that same tree, well, how deep will your roots go there, tree? I don't know, I guess as deep as they can. Well, you know, they can destroy you, burn you, cut you down. Okay. In the meantime, I got living to do, right?
Yeah.
And so it wasn't about a race or a competition. It's really about an evolution. It's a becoming, right? And so through you and your music, you're just making sound. And that's what life is really about, is making sound. And that as that wave and as that noise and as that word and as that tone comes into people's lives, I believe it's like this. My relationship with everybody is like this because my relationship is like this. Why?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that plugged me in. It said, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. It didn't say this big, expensive, shiny, heavy, you know, cumbersome light. It said this. So you talked about, you know, and I want to know a little bit about your insight about what is success. You know, is it a bunch of money? Is it the top of a mountain? Or is it what we become in the process?
Yeah. My perspective about success is, I think that to each his own, right? Maybe somebody thinks that success is having a family, you know, getting married, having a job, making kids. That's successful to them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they feel that they've gotten success, I think that would, you know, give them success. But other people have other thoughts. If someone wants to get rich and that's success, well, to you, I hope you get rich, right? And I hope you get what you want. But let's not confuse it with happiness, because happiness, you can have it without money, you know, without the things that you want. You can just be by yourself and you can just be so happy, and you can call that success as well. Mm-hmm. So there's many, you know, to each his own. Success is realizing that, you know, you got something that you wanted. You might want something else after that, and then you're like, no, I'm not successful yet until I get that. So we keep changing.
You know, especially in the Hispanic community, you know, our families, you know, they have good intentions, but sometimes they're not good enough. And their intentions are, you should be like this. Right? You should be a plumber because I was a plumber. You should be a mechanic because I was a mechanic, you know, or go back to school. And the reason I believe many families push to school is because it's giving them a whole nother perspective of things that can't be provided at home. And as you go through school, you're created what you called earlier, what's called research discrimination, where you don't take everything for face value, especially as all this information is coming at us, right? So we have to bring it all back together, and we have to process it. Our minds and just like our bodies are filters. You know, I drink water, I eat, you know, my body has to filter these things. Our minds are the same way. That's why the scriptures say, guard this part, right? Guard this part, you know? And so that way you're in control. And you talked about earlier about how, you know, learning earlier or learning younger, it's like planting seeds, right?
Right.
And we don't got to force the seeds. You know, you just got to do your part. You don't got to yell at the seed.
No.
Right? No.
Right.
You know, God, the universe, the earth will do its part. You just do your part. You just keep making your music. And those that the good seed lands on, it says, will get it. Right?
Right.
And I think people make their lives a lot louder than it should. Why? Because of the success. You know, what is success? And so is it a bunch of money and the people who get these big houses, now you got a big house that you got to pay for, right? Because they say if you work hard, go to school, make all this money, you'll have all this stuff.
Right.
They don't talk about the other side, which sometimes costs more, which is the maintenance of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and sometimes that costs more. So that's why I say be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it all.
Yep.
And so now in life, I'm really careful about what I wish for.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Right? You know, and so, but anyways, you know, I just wanted to just kind of get that information about the success and stuff. So what are your thoughts? You know, what motivates you? You know, and are you there? Do you consider yourself successful?
Am I there? Is that what you said? Am I there?
Yeah. Are you there? Are you successful? How do you know you've landed?
I haven't landed yet. I haven't landed. I'm still, you know, in the process. I have some projects, you know. I have a lot of things that I still want in life, and I mean, I'm happy at the moment. I enjoy what I do very much, and but I think I still got a long ways to go. I don't really say that I'm successful. That's for other people to judge, you know. If other people think I'm successful, okay. But to me, I still got, you know, it's a process, and I'm not done yet. I'm not done.
Yeah. I think sometimes success is like because life is an experience. It's not one thing, it's everything. And every day you're just getting better at being better. And so as you grow and as you become better at being better, then your family, friends, and fans could eat of your fruit, which is you, just being you, which is an amazing version. The best version. Yeah. And so that's why I like what, you know, and to me, I believe you have succeeded, because as you inch more and more through your life, as you grow and as you go, you are inspiring other people. And really, at the end of the day, that's what it is. You're a light. Because there's some young person looking at you now and they're like, I wish I could be like that. You know? But sometimes we go from awe to awful, or not good enough, or not enough. You know, so that's where we got to pull it back and say, wow, the fact that I'm even here, able to do what I do, you know, it's an amazing life. So I do consider you successful, my friend. I look forward to eating more of your fruit and stuff like that. You know, what is your spiritual experience like? What does that look like in the morning?
Oh, it's a good question. So, I respect everyone's thoughts, and to each his own, right? But my perspective of spiritualism is knowing that God is within you. And
what does that mean?
When you go within, and you focus yourself and you try to connect, you have the power to connect to God. Anywhere, the creator, that energy, you're just flowing consciousness. And you have to get away from like the perspective of I am Alonso, you know, I am 36 years old, I do this, and I'm a musician, and my family's this way, You have to get outside of that and know that you're, you know, what I think is that we are all part of God's mind, experiencing itself, you know, in each person. For example, we might have one of those lights that you turn those lights on, and then luces de bengala, I don't know what they're calling in English.
Fireworks.
Like fireworks, and like here's God with the fire and the energy, and we're just little parts of extensions of him experiencing life. And in a way, I think that we're all creators. Why? Because we create our future. We create what we want to happen. If you know, if you want to create an empire, then you can wish for it, think, you know, have faith and do the work. After that, you created something. You're a creator. Mi Tierra didn't exist before. You created it. You're a creator. You have the power. You have the power. So I think that we're just extensions of God. We're children of God, and we've been made to be as Him, as below, as above, you know. And those are my thoughts. Yeah. I was raised Catholic, and I respect everyone's way of thinking. I think somewhat different now. So there's going to be differences in the way that I think. As a regular Catholic person, think that every religion brings out the best person in each one. Maybe a Buddhist believes in that, and he becomes a great person at the end. Catholicism, you can grab everything that's good out of there. You know, Christians, whatever it is, Hindus, they all bring out goodness and expression of good and love. Yeah. No, and I agree with you, because, you know, I think at the end of the day, like, did you get the message? Did you get better, or did you fall victim to whatever? You know, because however you get on that road, at the end of the day, your relationship is with the one that created you. And if through this experience, this life experience, you want to hear my version of all this, then sit down and listen, or watch me. But to go and judge for me being the way that I am or not, or just, and that's where even a lot of times, you know, I had a conversation with a family member recently where she was trying to love on her, you know, on her son too much, where we kind of force feed our love. And I was trying to pull her back out of that mindset where I was saying, you know, maybe this isn't the right gift. And not everybody likes peaches, right? You know, I love peaches, but not everybody does. Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I am a bad person. The bad person becomes when you're not proud of what you've done before God. And so what was the last time you felt that you were proud before God, or God was proud of you?
I think that whenever I give experiences, like you know, suggestions to people from my experiences, and helping other people, that's when I believe that I'm doing God's work. When they come to me and they say, thank you so much. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have a band. I wouldn't be able to do this or that. And we're just a tool to make things happen. Yeah. And when you become that God's tool is when you see, you make other people happy. You give to the world. You have to give back. Like a flower is beautiful, right? But the flower is an expression of God, and it brings the beautifulness to the world. And it says, here I am, look at me. Look at this. Yeah. And, you know, enjoy the beauty. And and we take pictures of nature, and we just enjoy it because it's beautiful. And that's in a way what we need to bring to the world as human beings. We need to shine our light, like you said, you know. What is your passion? What is your calling? And are you helping people, or just, you know, are you growing? Are you growing, you know, or are you just being manipulative, or you know,
dramatic or traumatic,
egotistical? Yeah, right. Yeah. So because when they become in that egotistical mind, then you know, ego, they say, stands for easing God out. And so now I started freaking myself out and causing all this drama and chaos around me. And many times it puts fear and drama around these people that we're supposed to love. So we have to realize that, guys, look, we're in control. So why not just tone it down a little bit? You know, stop being a little bottom bitch. Go help out. Do something good with your life. Productive, purposeful, right?
get
But
that?
is it cutting off?
There it is. Sorry, it says my
Okay.
internet connection is unstable, so keep going. What'd you say? There you go.
Yeah,
I
like,
was getting to the good part, but go ahead. Tell me what your thought was.
no, I know. I'm sorry. Did I just cut you off?
No, I
was
don't
just
know
gonna
where I
say-
ended. Go ahead.
I was going to say that ego is not bad either, but you have to have a balance.
Sure.
You need to have the ego only because sometimes you need to defend yourself, and you need to, stand, strong. You have to have that middle part, like there's the yin and yang, right? The darkness and the light. We cannot be walking in the darkness. Like if you can, but it's not. I don't recommend it. It's you're gonna be living
It's like being further away from the light.
Right, but sometimes if you just go all the way to the light, sometimes you don't do anything because there's why should I do that? All is love. Nah.
Yeah.
You should do a podcast. Nah, why? The world is gonna end, or we're all gonna die anyways. All is love. God loves me as I am. We don't need nothing. But when you have a little bit of ego, you have that sense of like, oh, this is my calling. I want to do this, and then so you have to have that balance. Right?
Yeah, the motivation, the ego is I think it's having the courage to jump, the courage to lead, the courage to go, and the courage to lead, right? But going in that space in fear, and you have the courage comes from something greater that's within us, right?
Exactly.
And that greater that's within us is what? That's what your God said.
Yeah, the ego comes in when when you say, I want to get better. I want to learn this because I want to know things.
Yeah.
And that's good. Yeah. That's good because
yeah.
when you know things, you can be a light to other people that don't know or don't have the way to know. So, but not have too much ego.
Yeah. Well, the ego is good for the confidence because that's what a leader and people want to have. See somebody who's confident that say, if I'm going to go this way, I'm going to trust you, right? And that's what a leader does. And a leader has influence, and so you have a lot of influence under a lot of young soldiers under you, with this school. So let's kind of transition into the school a little bit and talk about Nueva Escuela de Musica. How that all come together. Tell me about that.
Yeah, like I said, I was fortunate to have great teachers back in high school, and I used to be a band geek. I didn't hang out with the cool guys, but I did a lot of hours of music when I was young, and great teachers, great experiences, and so friends of mine that knew me, of course, that saw me play, and they asked me, hey, can you teach me this song? So I would teach them song because we'd be able to learn it, and different instruments I began learning, and I've been really geeky about that. I practice a lot. I dedicate myself to practicing a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. Would you call it a geeky thing, or would you call it a focused person, somebody who's disciplined? Geek has a very negative connotation. I don't think of you as a geek. I think of you as somebody who's very disciplined and focused and knew what he wanted.
No, it's because I am proud to be geeky in music because, for me, if you call me a band geek, I'm proud.
Sure.
But I know that some people, the geek has that negative connotation. But
I see where you're coming from. I understand.
I support all the geeks. Keep doing what you're doing.
Sure.
Good job.
I understand that. Yeah, no, because really, at the end of the day, they're all going to fall in love with the band geek.
Right?
They all fall in love with the guy in the rocker. But that's good. But I'm sorry I interrupted you.
I got that in me. Like I like teaching a lot.
Sure.
So when I got out of the touring with the bands, I started giving more lessons here where here at it's a garage actually, but we made it like a studio.
The studio, yeah.
So I gave lessons throughout, and and that was until 2010 when I got out of the touring business. But then in 2015, I was doing, we were doing the Mente Tribal, the electronic project that we were doing with the music. And we were playing at different clubs. And we went to this club, and there was this lady. Gracias a Dios por ella también, thank God for her. She began, she asked me, hey, so what do you do? And I teach music. I'm looking for a spot, to give lessons. And she said, hey, you can teach my my kids, my nephews, and you can give lessons here. So that's how it all began, the Nueva Escuela de Musica. And well, I had Nueva Escuela de Musica here, but that's when we started getting more teachers and expanding. And it just started, by word of mouth, and just easy Facebook. It just started growing and growing, more teachers. And with the love, I think that if the team has that connection, and when Nueva Escuela became a nonprofit, we still have a great team up to this moment, because we're still going on. Just but the people who are there in the board of directors and are just like loving people, and caring people, and they see how much the effect that music has on the life of kids and all people too. You don't have to. You can still love it. We've grown. We've gotten down, up and down. Like we have ups and downs with the school, but this coronavirus, made it stop. But we're going to start the online classes. So this week I will be posting some things. We wants to search for Nueva Escuela de Musica and wants to study music. We will begin doing that after this coronavirus.
Yeah, and so the school is a nonprofit school for children to come and learn instruments and music theory. What is a little bit about it? Yes. We teach music theory. The music theory is like the structure of the notes. Sure. How are they structured? What note is which, and how do two notes being played? What emotion does it put out? What about three notes being played? What separation do you give to that notes, and the difference that it makes when you play those specific songs? So learning the structure is a music theory. Another thing is technique. You have to have great technique. So the fastest way from point A to point B is a straight line. So we want to help kids and the students learn that straight line, straight to the point, right? Sometimes if you just begin teaching songs, they're just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing this, but I don't know what I'm doing. So learning the correct theory and the technique helps him connect the dots, A to B. So, for example, if I want to do an exercise in the saxophone, what is the best way to learn that technique? All you have to make sure you breathe well, make sure you get that tonguing out the proper, right, with your diaphragm, and then don't move your fingers. You got to keep your fingers close to the notes, and then you just do this pattern over and over until the subconscious grabs it and it stays there. Yeah. So after you do, hundreds of hours of repetitions of an exercise, you can be watching me and you can be like blah, 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 playing the exercise or whatever. Yeah. It's just second nature, right? That's the technique. We teach that. We also teach
theory, technique, expression, right? You need to be able to express the music, not just like a robot. Oh, you're playing perfect notes, but
you're not moving.
Sometimes you need to develop that way of expressing. Change it up, you know. Sometimes you're gonna be soft. Sometimes you're gonna be loud. And are you romantic? What are you? So you need to be able to transmit that. You know, we also teach ear training. Ear training is very important because when you have developed ear is when you can hear the music in your head and then you can play it. Before, like, you hear it first and then you can play it. Whenever you're there, you're gonna be, you know, pretty high there in your ability. So you're learning to distinguish those notes and the patterns to be able. Oh, well, I know what notes they're playing. Oh, you hear some chord changes, a chord progression, and you're. Oh, I know what that is. He's playing chord 1. He goes to chord 5, chord number 6, chord number 2, chord number 4, and he goes back to the root. So ear training, right? We also teach how to read music. The music notation, that is very, very important because it opens your, you know, your mind. You can go into an orchestra and you can learn them. You can just read the music and you're playing with the orchestra. You don't need to take the, you know, to listen to the song and figure those notes out. You can just read the notes, just like you're reading a book. And all of those things. We also teach. Like I said, in the bands, I teach the kids to help each other out, to not judge or to laugh at. Oh, if somebody couldn't do the exercise, do not laugh at him. Help him. You know, he's not there yet, and we're all different, and we have different types of abilities, and we should never ever make someone else feel bad because we could give them depression, you know, and they end up killing themselves.
Using your superpower for bad and not evil, or good and not bad and not, or evil and not good, I guess.
Yes.
And that's really good. And how old are these children normally?
We've had students. I've taught students and other teachers too. Probably. The youngest would probably be 3 or 4, something like that. And so young kids is very special how you need to teach them. I think that you need to have that sense, that extra sense of what they're thinking, because what you're saying to the kid may not be the same thing that they're thinking in their head. They might be imagining something else other than what you're actually trying to give them. So you need to, in a way, sense that, get in their head in a good way to understand what they're actually getting out of that, and from there continue. So young kids and old kids. The oldest I've taught, I don't know, probably in their 60s. I still give lessons to a couple people, you know, but
nice. And if somebody wanted to get lessons from you, how would they find you if they wanted to get connected with you? Is there a how does that work?
So they can go to Nueva Escuela de Musica on Facebook and put the like in there, and just follow us, send us a message. You can connect with me through Facebook as well, and I can guide you. If
people want to get involved, is that how they would connect as well?
What's that?
If people wanted to get involved, is that how they would connect as well?
Yes. That you can connect. I myself and Lupita Gonzalez, she lives in LA. She's my friend, and she handles calls too. And she'll call me right away and tell me, hey, you know, this person wants to get involved. How can we make this happen? I can give them a call. And Yeah, so just to connect with me through Facebook or the Nueva Escuela de Música, Alquimia Records, Alquimia Productions Records, and just hit me up, and we can make it happen.
Yeah.
If you want to learn music,
how can people? Okay, that's awesome. And if other people wanted to support you, what kind of positions are available? You know, teachers. You know, money if they wanted to donate. If they wanted to donate their time, money, energy, resources. How can they do that?
Yeah. Yes, all of those are great things. I think that what now we need a little bit more help on the administrative side. If anybody loves, you know, the administrative side of a business, if you want to get in contact with us, with me. Are you back?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. Yes. So if anybody knows of anyone who would be interested in helping out with the administrative side, please do so. Teachers will be needed. We have a few teachers, but more teachers are welcome. If you have that passion, we will promote you so you can give lessons. That's what we want. We want to as much of exposure of our help and our information, our music help to the community as much as possible.
Sure. I understand that this is all in Spanish, right?
No, we're bilingual. Our teachers are bilingual. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. So let me wrap up some things with you. So Alonso, if they were to write a book about your life, what would the title of that book be?
The one who was here, and oh man, what would the book be called? Alonso, the one who learned. You know, life is just a ride, brother. It's just, you know, the ride of life. You know, just enjoy the ride. Something within those words, you know. My belief is just that we're here, and just enjoy the moment until the universe doesn't need you here any longer. You don't know that. We never know that until it's there, until the moment is there sometimes, and we cannot be thinking of the day that we're gonna die, because we're just gonna live in so much anxiety. We need to forget about that. We need to rethink. We need to learn how to enjoy each moment and not think about the day we're gonna die, because that's gonna come someday. And until that moment comes, just wait for it. But you can't be living in anxiety. So enjoy the moment and enjoy the ride, the pleasures of life, and help others. The book would have those words in them, you know, everything together.
And if it became a movie, and if it became a movie, who would play you?
Who would play me? Let's see. That's a very good question. Probably what's his name? The guy from The Matrix. I like that guy. Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. There you go.
Yeah,
you got a good one. See, there you go. No, that's cool. That's cool, man. No, there's just so much to, you know, incorporate into this life. You know, people they'll spend their time and energy on living in fear. but we weren't given a spirit of fear. We were given a spirit to go do amazing things with our lives, because again, you can't stop the inevitable. So you might as well go do some living until that day comes that your light goes out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So go do cool stuff.
Yeah, brother. And fear is also a blessing, you could call it, because when you're in fear, it means that there's something in there that you need to get in there and put your eyes on it and focus. Why am I feeling fearful?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a calling for you to pay attention. But but like for example, a gazelle is it's in the prairies or wherever they live, savannah, I don't know, in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
They're there just eating, and then the lion comes. So they're in fear now. So there is when the adrenaline goes up and you get all these chemicals from your brain, the adrenaline rush, and
the
you're
endorphins.
Just so focused, and you just go, you just run for your life, right? And you have this power to be able to run away from that lion, and then you get away, and then 15 minutes later, you're calm again. You're eating because you got away. You're not living in fear anymore. Mm-hmm. But that fear got you out of death, right?
Yeah.
But we cannot live in fear 100% of the time, because the brain will do its job. The brain will give you those bad chemicals, the adrenaline, but those chemicals will slowly eat up your cells and your organs, because it's not in harmony. It's not good chemicals for a long life, for regeneration of your cells. It's on the contrary, right? So fear is also good, but it's just it's something that is telling you that you need to do something.
Sure.
Once you fix that problem, you go back to unfear. Love the moment.
It's considered a motivator. That motivator, it shifts the mindset to react, and your mind and your body will react to those things. But you people have to consider, once you understand what that is, you also have to understand that part of that motivator is also temporary. And so what you said is that it came in when I needed it, but then it went away. But sometimes people want to stay in that fear that the lion's coming back. And though the lion may come back, there's a difference between fear and awareness. Young people now, they have this YOLO, you only live once, but you also only die once. So you don't want to test God. He's not going to stop you from jumping off of a bridge. Mm-hmm. So why would you test that? So again, you have to be cautious about what you wish for. What you put out there is what you're going to get back, right? That good energy, that karma, that vibe.
Exactly. And the brain cannot tell the difference between, for example, the lion's going to eat me, or I have bills to pay and I don't have money. I'm stressed. So the brain does the same thing. Or my girlfriend left me. I'm stressed now. Or I don't have a car. Or any type of mental stress can do the same mechanism to your body as if you were running for your life. So be careful.
Yeah. And that's true. Those stress factors come because it disrupted your normal. Mm-hmm. When the girlfriend leaves, when the job goes, all these things that you were normal. And so it goes back to, again, what is the success in this life, and really being cautious about how you position yourself. You're going to be given credit cards, you're going to be given opportunities, you're going to be given ways to put yourself in the financial holes, and now you have cancer, maybe not medical or physical cancer, but cancer of life. So people have to kind of pull that back, and then that fear comes out, is that I can't pay these things that I put myself into a hole for. For what? Until when? How long does this stay in my life? You who collect guitars, people collect fishing rods, cars, people have stuff to have stuff, right? Yeah. And, when is enough, and when is enough and stuff. But, what do you do to manage stress?
I try to meditate. you know, even 15 minutes a day, just be with yourself, just be in the moment, and enjoy, because whenever you do that a lot, then your brain begins to change. Your neural networks begin to create pathways of learning how to handle stress, right? Like when you're at the traffic light and you see it's not moving, or someone cut you over, the meditation will help to sense when you're getting angry, and just, oh wait, this is not good, because if I get angry, it's gonna have repercussions, right? Mm-hmm. Another thing that I do is just I come in here and just start whatever. I grab the guitar or any instrument that I feel like I want to practice, and that's how I forget about you know, my stress with music. I like to just practice, and once I get into that that practicing mentality and going over and over and over, I just like space out into another place, and that stress or whatever was bothering me is no longer bothering me, or it's just a little bit. Sleeping helps a lot too. You know, if sometimes you feel down, go sleep, go take a nap. You'll probably feel better later on.
Yeah. People don't realize how important sleep is, and you know, yeah, you know, sleep is part of surrender. And you know, later, you know, we can talk another day about the art of surrender and my thoughts on that. Just how powerful that is when we understand that concept. You know, because again, nothing in this life lasts forever. And that's the beauty about this life, is that nothing lasts forever. And sometimes even that pain that you feel won't last forever, because every morning is a new beginning. It's a moment to start over, start something. You know, and you talked about anger and stuff like that, the guy who cut you off on the street. You know, we have to realize that, again, anger is a temporary emotion, and when you give it away to that person on the street who doesn't even know you exist, it's like you gave your power away. Why? How weak is that? And so when we learn that, look, our power is much greater within us, that I don't have to get angry at things that used to make me angry, because you realize it's silly energy. Going back to your song, going back to your thought, going back to your gratitude, you know, for your abilities, for the people who come and go in our lives, right? You know, and how do you think people are going to remember you? You know, as we kind of wrap up our time, how are they going to remember you?
Well, I wish that people would remember me as just an example of. I want to represent nature in a way, right? To just be here and be just be yourself. Be whatever you are. You know, a tree is a tree, a flower is a flower, an animal is an animal. Nature, right? You're here, and you have so much beauty. You're made up all these, you know, trillions of atoms, and they're all together, and it's a miracle to be alive. Really, it really is a miracle, and I want people to remember that. To know that life is a blessing. If you're here, you are so blessed. You're not a cockroach. You're a conscious being. You're so powerful, and nobody should tell you you're not. Mm-hmm. You should always remember who you are, and I think that I want people to remember me that way, to know that you know, things are possible if you want them, if you have faith, if you control your emotions, if you control what you think, and, you know, you do your good deeds, you help, but you also help yourself. You know, you have a balance. Mm-hmm. So nature is really balanced, and that's how you should be too. That's what I think.
Yeah. And as a musician, you know, the ability to put into words what the heart wants to say, and you know, as you write it down, you know, and that way generations, when you're gone, you know, somebody might hear your song and say, that's how I feel. And in that song, it helps them just get to the other side. It didn't save them, it just helped them get to the other side of that emotion, that thought that was temporary, right?
Yes, music is also something that it would be great to be remembered by the music that I came here to put out to the world. Yeah. I hope people keep enjoying what I do.
And how can people find your work?
Yes.
Instagram, where do they find you? Yeah, how can they find your work? Website, Instagram?
Yes, I don't use Instagram. I mostly just do Facebook, and you can find us at Alquimia Records as well. Just it's right there on the screen, Alquimia Records.
We'll add the link in there.
Type that in, and just if you need a composed song, you know, we have we make lyrics and melodies to a song. So we've gotten other bands to record our songs. If you need help with that, we can help you. Recordings, we can help you record your bands, or if you're a composer, you need music. We do pop, electronic, banda, cumbia, sierreño, norteño.
Yeah. Cool. So a bit of everything.
Yeah, we
mariachi, some rap.
Yeah, and that's why, like I said, like I dedicate myself to be practicing a lot, because if I need to record, you know, bajo quinto, I need to be right on point so it sounds good. So if anybody needs, you know, help with music in any aspect, if you're an artist and you want to know what the business is like, I can tell you what the business is like with the radio stations. What is the process that you need to work on if you want your end goal to be a certain way through music, right? I have experience in that too. So
they say that knowledge is power, and so to be able to leverage your knowledge just helps empower that person to be smarter and wiser and not get punched in the face as often, you know, or spend a lot more than they need to, you know, because again, this is a process. Life is an evolution, and you know, I hope as you continue to produce more and more music, it really is going to be that one song that's going to help capture the heart of the world, help capture the heart of a nation. You know, as an artist, you have to continue to create, not because you were gifted to make that sound or to design the string or the wood or anything that had to do with even the creation of that instrument, but that God gave you that ability to put those things together. You know, that's an amazing gift that you have, and a strength that not too many have. And I would just encourage you to just continue to build, continue to write, continue to share. And that I hope that as you continue to spread your seed, and you know, it'll land on the soils that are appropriate for it. You know, I love your music. I love the passion for what you do, and I'm really grateful for you to be able to share this time with us today. I'm sure we can continue to talk all day long. I hope that as you continue and you develop your podcast, I'll be a guest on your show, you know, and I can learn a little bit more. But is there anything else that you want to add? Kind of what are your thoughts about today?
I think that just balance, everybody. Have a balance, you know, not too white, not too black, right in the middle, and enjoy life. Know that life is a blessing, and you're connected to God, and you just need to get in there, right? The vibration, you know, and just know that God loves you, and you will never be alone. You're always with God. You're never alone, and just keep going, and I want to thank you very much, and you're a great interviewer, J. Anthony. Thank you, and send you big hugs. I admire you as well, and
thank you.
If one day I have a podcast, I'll invite you too.
And that is, yeah. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I believe, in closing, that we don't have a good life or a bad life. We have a life. It's up to us to do what we want with it. And I believe that we do get 2 lives in this lifetime. And the second one starts when you realize you only have one. And what are you doing with that one, and what are you doing about it? And I hope that as, we evolve, that just God continues to use you. So thank you again for joining us. And stay tuned for more stuff and more interviews. Thank you. Alonso Leyva with Alquimia Records.
Un abrazo, amigo. Hasta luego. Gracias.
Talk to you soon, brother. Stay on the line.